when I get here, he can stop talking. But I was like, yeah, he's doing a good job. I'll just listen.
Like a fill-in host for a short time.
I used to use Cursor about 6 months ago. I stopped because it's just not as good as it used to be. Um, Cursor is nice because you can pay $20 a month and get a lot of value out of that $20. But they changed their plans and they changed how they're doing things, and it just I would say I outgrew it, so I canceled my subscription and moved to Claude Code instead, and that's where I've been since. But no, Cursor's okay. I think it's useful if you're a developer because it's has a nice it has a nice IDE. I mean, it's VS Code, so it's nice for that. But yeah, I don't really. I don't, Jeez, you okay, Val? What's wrong? But I would say, I mean, if you like to use it, then that's fine. I just outgrew it, so I didn't like their changes that they implemented. But if you're using it and you like it, then that's awesome, man. Use what works best for you. And there was a time when I would use Cursor for a little bit. Um, I would use Stacks for a little bit, and then I would use Goose for a little bit. I swapped back and forth, and then I would use Gemini for a little bit, Chat GPT for a little bit. I was using like 4, 5, 6 different tools just for one project.
Yeah, I do that as well. Like another thing, like I've done with this new client is I'll take screenshots and I'll upload it to Chat GPT and I'll say, what can I do to improve the UX here?
Yeah.
It'll give me recommendations and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, I mean that's pretty much. I'll say that's the path that most vibe coders go because you're trying to figure out what works best for you, and you're popping around using different tools and figuring out what works best for different prompts and different projects and whatnot. So no, you're doing the thing, man. Well, we've all been there. We've all done that. Still do that somewhat today. I still use I I use Claude Code for 99% of my stuff, but every once in a while I'll do something specific on Shakespeare, or every once in a while I'll do something specific on Chat GPT. But I've been trying to stop using Chat GPT and
Yeah.
use everything. Use Claude for everything since Claude is where I pay. Since I pay for Claude, so I've been trying to migrate to that.
Yeah, I pay for both. I bought Claude like the regular LLM interface for like a year's worth for like $200. So I have that. I have the GPT, but I want to get away from Chat GPT because it's becoming just a corporate freaking ad machine and ugh,
Yeah, I haven't seen any ads yet, but I've seen a lot of pictures of other people that have ads, and they have ads on paid tiers. That's what's insane.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, so Derek, what we were talking about, this weekend and just now, and just kind of, I think a couple things, like building a modular, like a Lego, the green Lego bases, that you would build a big Lego structure on, like thinking in terms of like, can we build something, or is it already there, that is sort of like a mix and match, plug and play, dashboardy kind of thing that could have, like Seth's gratitude thing and some of Heather's mind stuff, and then stuff, just whatever it might be, like, your calendar app and journal, like whatever it is that we want to kind of mix and match and make our dashboard. And instead of it just being like, okay, here's a menu, here's a feed, just sort of the typical social things, and then just sort of mix and match, like, I want to have private social and DMs. Is anything there yet that has that?
A Lego builder, no, but that's actually really cool because I had thought about this. a couple weeks ago. Years ago, there used to be a tool called Yahoo Pipes, which 15 to 20 years ago, Yahoo Pipes was really, really cool, where it was an interface that had all these different modules, and you would
Mhm.
kind of drag and drop things that you wanted to connect and build together. And it allowed you to build, an app essentially, but it was 20 years ago, so the tech really wasn't there for it. But that's essentially what you did, is you would drag and drop all these pipes together and pipe everything into one big pipe, and that was what you're building. But that's kind of like what you're talking about. I was thinking about that recently, thinking that it would be neat to have a modular display like that, where
Mhm.
you would essentially drag all these blocks, like you're saying, Lego blocks, onto your app field, and then once they're drug in, the AI, or like whatever that would be, like Shakespeare, would look at the eight different modules, the eight different Lego blocks that you drug in, and it would know the prompts to add all these pieces, and it would essentially prompt it for you, since you may not know how to prompt it, but we would design it where you just drag and drop all the pieces that you want, and it adds the prompt. I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago, so that's interesting because
Yeah, well, and I think, we were looking at MK's, like the your space thing, and it's not as user interface, like, I mean, because I'm imagining like sort of drag and drop it, like it's an empty canvas, right? Like
yeah.
a mural
We,
board or whatever, and whatever the functionality is, let's say whatever you pick 6 things that go on the homepage, and you can still build it out where it will have sub pages that it clicks through to. Um, but like your dashboard is the most fun thing, and the idea is to create it in such a way that it's like it's your morning thing that you wake up, you write down your goals, or you check your progress, etc. What are you going to do for that day? What are the obstacles in your way, etc. um, Check your news feed if you want to do that. If not, you don't even have to have that in the interface if that's not what you want. And then at the end of the day, make it something that's like, okay, how did I do? What worked, what didn't? And so like a progress tracker, like that's kind of how I had it built in the Replit thing. That's just sort of like, okay, here's all the things that I'm working on for this year. How do I chunk it down quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, etc. And then have a fun, playful tracker. And then if you just want to use it as your own tool, great. If you want to have it like in social groups where it's like, okay, the 4 of us created whatever, the Nostra vibe coding sub club group, and each day we're going to commit to doing 30 minutes of vibe coding, and then we show it to each other and zap each other, whatever you want to do. But like however the people want to set that up, they can set up their own accountability groups, right, and make it playful and fun. So I think if we can build something like that, like I think that would make a lot of uh, mini developments, like because Seth just totally whipped out this cool gratitude thing this weekend. And so it's like, cool, there's another little thing I didn't think of that I want on my dashboard, and like,
yeah, but so the problem with that is as people are just whipping stuff out and building things on a whim, we kind of don't know that they exist. So you wouldn't know that specific feature existed unless he advertised it somewhere. Now maybe perhaps if something that he is building has a custom spec, like a custom nip, then it could be added to Noster Hub, and then Shakespeare would know about it because it's on Noster Hub. But right now, there is nothing to know what he is building or what anybody is building unless they submit it to Noster Hub or it's something that's on an existing NIP.
It does have a custom kind, and this new one.
So right now, this does not exist, but
No,
we've talked about it. We would like to in the future have Shakespeare know if you built a custom NIP, give you the option whenever you go to deploy. There's a pop-up screen that comes up and it says, do you want to deploy? Do you want to send your code to Nostr Git? And do you want to submit your custom NIP to Noster Hub. So that way, all the NIPs that people build will get submitted. I mean, people will have to manually click a button, but whenever they're going to deploy, it would just be a checkbox like deploy to mycoapp.shakespeare.wtf. Then underneath that, have a checkbox that say, deploy custom NIP to the NIPS repo or something along those lines. So then, what Valerie wants would be able to happen, because every app could potentially know about every other app that's been built. But right now, we don't have that piece linking everything.
Well,
So I'm on Noster Hub. There's two Noster Hubs. There's a nosterhub.tech and nosterhub.io.
Nosterhub.io. I don't know what .tech is. So I'm talking about nosterhub.io.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry. I think I interrupted somebody.
No,
what I was going to say, Derek, is the one framing, or at least the concept that we talked about before you got here. Which, have you ever played around on KeyChat in their little mini browser that they have?
a long time ago, like
Okay.
shortly after it launched. But
So
I'm
they
familiar
have,
with the concept, though.
yeah, they within the app they have a mini browser
Yep.
where you can add Nostr clients to it. I think Yakback is in there, Jumble, Shopster, Routster,
Sure.
stuff like that. I don't know if it's technically feasible, but imagine you have an app that is just kind of your Nostr central hub, like the apps you like to use, where you can just dump them all in there, or maybe there's some way to signify it's a Nostr app, and if there's some sort of like almost a custom browser in there that has its own extension, so everything you use, you just sign through this app, this one app. So you just
Sure.
go into the app and you sign into Zap Cooking or Yakback or
Well,
Nostr, whatever.
yeah, you're describing KeyChat or the Spring browser. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but you want an app that like an app on the web that has all of this.
Well, or a phone app,
Yeah.
so you would go to the app and you would just you basically build your own stack, your own Nostr stack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think how you would do that on the web, because with a web with a NIP07 extension, like technically, like I'm thinking of like all these iframes, and I don't think it passes to the iframe. No, but yeah, I mean, KeyChat allows you to add custom ones, and Spring Browser allowed you to. But I think Spring Browser might be defunct since Artur Brugman's kind of MIA, and I don't think he's updated in a very long time. But it was an app for your phone. I think it was on iOS and Android, where it was a browser for Nostr apps, and it signed into all of them for you.
Mm.
I remember using it for Nest like 2 years ago. It was really cool, really before its time. I mean, it was kind of clunky, but the thought was it would sign into all these web apps for you. So another comment that's related to this, Val, you had mentioned your space. That is very, very, very alpha and buggy. Like MK hasn't worked on that in a very long time, but there is a newfound push here in the near future, before the end of the month, to actually work on that and make it better, and make it actually work to where you would be able to go in there and kind of modular move stuff around and pick all your different pieces of content that you want to display on your page, so it is more kind of like MySpace in that regard. It's not entirely what you wanted, Seth, but it's kind of similar to that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, these are just ideas right now.
I really like this. I was When I was walking 2 weeks ago, I was literally thinking about Yahoo Pipes and bring. The reason I was thinking about this is because Rabble on a podcast that was when I was walking. He mentioned Yahoo Pipes. He used to work on Yahoo Pipes, many years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, I used to use Yahoo Pipes." And then I started thinking, "Whoa, wouldn't it be cool to bring them back, but for like Shakespeare?" So that has me really excited that you mentioned that, Val. I think that that's actually a very normie use case. If we could
Yeah.
come up with a dozen different modules, and you would just drag and drop them, and then the AI would spit out the prompt in the background because we predefine the prompt for you. That's really interesting.
Yeah, well, and the thing that I think, keeping the front end interesting for the user, right? Like
Yeah.
sort of saying, well, how does anybody know if, Seth just built this new thing, right? So on the um somehow on the user interface, on the little, whatever, the dashboard Lego thing, there could be like a little, area with like new widgets or new,
Yeah.
whatever you call them, new bricks that are, because, I think about like, we've got like, just an example, right? The Bitcoin runners, like people who like to go run and get their steps in, like they'd probably be stoked to have like a running buddy widget app that counts their days running or whatever it is, right? Like just stuff like that versus like,
Yeah.
for
And
me, you know,
we have some of this information too.
yeah.
Like if you would go to import a project in Shakespeare, like we can look at your follows from people that you're following and see the things that they built and the things that they published. So we're not entirely like recreating the wheel here. A lot of these pieces of the puzzle already exist.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is updating Shakespeare to allow people to publish their custom nips. And so that's something we've talked about. We want to enhance that.
Because
I think if that's done,
Right.
then you would
That's true.
know, right? Like you would know Shakespeare would look at the nips, and you could say something like, "Give me a list of the 10 most popular nips, or the 10 most recent nips, or features to add," or something like that, and it could look at the nips repo and see all the ones that have been submitted recently, or the popular ones, or something.
Well, or if you look at it from the again, the quote unquote normie mindset, like just I build everything that I've had on Wix on the back end because it's like drag and drop. If I open up, the builder or whatever, it's like here's the list of, okay, here's counters, or here's a duplicatable thing if I want to have a store. Here's the Spotify plugin. Here's this. So it has a giant list on the left side of all the blocks of content that I can put, and obviously I can rearrange it however I
Yeah.
want. And so, like, if you think maybe that's an easy way to like display, like, because people can just start from scratch, obviously, in Shakespeare and go, I
Yeah.
want canvas, I'm going to do this whole thing. Or you can say, hey, you might want to add a calendar. Do you want a private journal? Do you want the the directory for XYZ, whatever it might be, right? So you
Yeah.
can have something like that so that it's like already preloaded, and anytime somebody gets a new little module, nip, widget, whatever, it's like gets added to that little um category list thing,
Hmm.
so that could be a way that like you get under, people can make a decision from that, or again, just, okay, I'm starting from scratch, sort of thing. That would be really, I mean, think about the different types of new users that you could pull in, right? You could have like all the different musicians and podcasters and artists and stuff. So instead of having to go to a separate, podcast app, it's like, no, that's just in my dashboard. Every morning I have like all the, the new podcasts that I'm following show up in this part of my dashboard, and then this part of my dashboard has my menu for the day and Zap cooking and, whatever. So all the different little things to create the lifestyle of our dreams using Nostr, I think would be really cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely cool, and I think that we can do a lot to surface this type of content, because ultimately, still at the end of the day, people still don't know what they can build until they build it. And that's really hard if you've never built before. So if we can give more choices and surface this content and surface these ways to build things, that'll be, I think, infinitely better. Like, we used to not have templates, and we added templates, to give people something to go off of. We used to not have the ability to edit other people's applications, and now we do. But I like the nip. I mean, I've always wanted to add the nips repo, and have people publish their custom kinds, because right now we can have all sorts of kinds and collisions. Uh, so I want the kinds to be published, because I bet we have custom collisions out there. But I
What does that
think
mean?
that, and
I don't
I
know. What does that
Coll-
mean?
collision meaning, like, so Seth says he has a gratitude nip. Well, let's say you build something, and then the same number, the same piece of code is just a 6 digit, or what is it, a one 30,000 a 5 digit number. That same digit number, coincidentally, you're using and Seth is using, and that means whenever you try to submit information on your app, Seth's app could also be using that same number, and the data wouldn't be formatted right for both of your applications. So publishing it definitely helps.
Okay, got it. And so I mean, because this is an interesting thing too, because if you think about, all the people out there doing all the different building using different apps, if you make something sort of underneath the umbrella of Shakespeare as like, come build your widgets, and then whatever your consistency practices are, I guess. I don't know if that's, I'm saying things the right way, but so that you're not having like things that don't mix and match and play nice together. It's kind of like, I remember when my kids would get, my son in particular, he'd get all these different Legos, and then sometimes he'd get the generic ones, and then sometimes he'd get the ones that have the bigger holes, and they didn't all fit on the green board together, and so it was like he had to buy a certain, he had to buy the Lego brand Legos to fit on the green board. Otherwise they didn't stick to each other, and so how do we encourage people to use Shakespeare to build so that everything that gets built in the little, Lego pieces, they can play nicely together somehow? If that's like hey, are you building this for a standalone thing, or do you want to build it so that it could also be interoperable with, the whatever, the canvas, or whatever the dashboard thing, just to create, less hassle, I guess, for the mix and matches, if that makes sense.
No, it does, and I think that goes along with the lines of, like, my random vision that I had. That, and I appreciate you bringing it up, because it was something I thought about and kind of just thought, it'd be a neat feature. But the fact that you're thinking about it, that means probably other people are thinking about it and would benefit for it. I know. I think it's good. It's definitely something that I'm a fan of. I'm going to talk to Alex about it and see what he thinks. Maybe he'll hate it, but I think it's a good idea.
Well, and I think it's cool too, just because it's like, how many other kinds of humans can we get on Nostr to play and build? And even in the back end, it's like, you don't have to even build any of the little apps. All your job is to do is mix and match, like, show up, here's a pretty little drag and drop thing. And okay, you can even say, like, here's my goals. My goals are to, lose 10 pounds, learn how to be a better communicator, and, stay sober, all the stuff. So show me the little modules that I can do. And then it's like, it'll give you suggestions. And then it can also, like, here you go deeper if you want to look at other stuff. And then it's just like you're building your own tracker, because, like, you look at the health trackers, right? It's like you're stuck inside of Apple's system or whatever these other systems are, and it's like, are they really, caring about you and your data? Do you feel safe, like, writing in your journal your deepest darkest secrets? Like, how can you make a tool that is private, and as public as you wish it to be, and social and fun? So I don't know, if it just seems like we could do something really neat with that, and then get normies away from feeling like, oh, here's some more ads for Ozempic on my shit, or whatever. um I think we could definitely build this, dude. And people, like, if you get normies like normie, quote unquote, me, who doesn't know how to code a lick, like, getting other people to use it, it makes it less scary.
Well, normie, I think that's a nice thing about these tools is you just have to be able to communicate and be able to talk to a robot. It doesn't require much instruction. You just have to be able to, like, say, hey, Shakespeare, vibe me up this cool app that looks like this, and then you just keep polishing it. And Nostr kind of promises that future, that internet that we once thought we had, that was taken away when they put up all the walls and said, you know, sorry, Twitter people, you're not allowed to access this data. Or same with YouTube. You can share a link and you can come into our little castle, but we're going to put all of our cameras on you when you're inside here and watch everything you do, and then we're going to take all your movements, and then we're going to sell them and make money off you.
Yep. Yeah, I think the more that we can help people continue to understand like data privacy, and I know obviously that you guys said last week that that's something that is getting worked on, like because we were talking just about your private journal or any of it. Like you don't want that shit out there in the world. Some people are like, I don't know, I don't care, but some people are like, fuck that, I don't want anybody seeing my my innermost life, and so it's like how no, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's apps that do that that
Yeah,
are ephemeral.
yeah, you can do that. You can do that with. I built a couple. I vibed them where you can just toggle anonymously. The challenge there, I think, is that you do want some identity, because you want to remember that you're talking to the Wild Hustle, and without him reminding you. Yeah. And like kind of like have a framing for that conversation. It's just sometimes you gotta the one weakness, and I think everyone agrees, we all need just some sort of good group chat integration, or some sort of private group integration into Noster that's not shitty, right? Like that works well. Yeah. Well, it's like Simplex too was another, like, we were promised, great encryption, and it worked well, and it works, but it just didn't feel right. It never felt right.
Well, that's because decentralization is hard,
Yeah.
and it was like nobody wants to sit there and have your chats be slow and lag and not work reliably.
Yeah.
Um, let me show you something that I vibe coded last night when I got home. It was just one prompt off of something I thought about while I was in the car. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Did anybody use the short-lived Google app in like 2012 called Schemer?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Google Schemer was for creating schemes. Essentially, it was for lists or goals or um, things to do, and then you would add them to a list, but then people would talk about those things. So if I say I want to go to Stonehenge, for example, then everybody can comment on my Stonehenge list or scheme and say, hey, I've been to Stonehenge, or I want to go too. Or they can share their thoughts, their photos, reviews, whatever. And then also, whenever people go to them, they can check it off saying, I've done it. It was a really cool, very short lived app. Um, they built it as a separate app, and it was in invite only. It got a lot of hype, and then they closed it down, and they were going to incorporate it into Google Plus, but then Google Plus died because Vic Condotra left. So I had a random thought. I don't know why I thought about Schemer last night, but I did. And I thought, well, I want to call it Pathfinder instead of Schemer. Um, so this is just one prompt. You can't really do too much, but you can create a path instead of a scheme. I called them paths. And you create a path. You say, I want to visit the Grand Canyon. Description. You upload an image. You put a image here, whatever the location where it is. Predefined categories. Travel, whatever. You add your hashtags, and then you create it, and then other people will see this. Visit Grand Canyon, for example, and then they can comment on it and say, hey, I want to go here too, or hey, I've been here, look at my photos, and so forth. And then once you go to it, you can add it as a scheme. So if I'm looking at it, I said I didn't do any tests at all. I said it was one prompt, and then I went to bed. But you would create a scheme, or I'm sorry, a path. We're calling them paths on this app. You would create a path, and then the paths would show up on your profile. And then when you've accomplished them, you can mark them as completed, and they show up as accomplished. And anybody can explore all of the different paths that other people have put. Maybe they say they want to go to New York City and eat a bagel. Something as simple as that. And then people can comment, oh yeah, you need to go to this bagel place. This is the place you go, and whatnot. It's just to think of it as almost like a public to do tracker, but it's a social tracker for things to do. And then you can have a bucket list. So I can go through all of the different paths that I find by exploring, and then I would add all of the different things I want to do on my bucket list. And then as I do them, I can check them off as completed. And then you can go to somebody's profile and look at the things they've completed or they said they completed, the ones they created, or look at all the public ones. So this is what Schemer was, and it was really, really cool. And then it died. It just never became a thing. I don't know why I thought about it yesterday, but I did. And then I did one prompt, and this is as far as I got on the one prompt. I didn't even create any test case scenarios, but I thought this was a neat idea, so I brought it back. And I mean, there's no UI. I mean, the UI is very, very, very dumb and basic. Maybe I'll add a about page with pretty pictures and stuff, like an onboarding page. But I don't know. Maybe I won't do anything.
Love it, dude.
I said I think it's cool.
No,
It's
I
just
mean, especially, that's what we were talking a bit about. Like the great, I love Shakespeare for just one prompt. Just building that framework and that
yeah,
foundation. And it's like, okay, now you have this. Now you can start adding in your windows and a ceiling fan and all the features that you want. Because I think that's what my what I've learned over the years is we get a little ahead of ourselves and saying here's the big picture I want in you. When in reality you got to start with the framework and then start building out. So it's super cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, Derek. It's also just because I see the term bucket list at the top, right? Like
hmm
that's a cool thing to put on your dashboard. Like every day, remind yourself, like, what's on
yeah,
my bucket list? Like, I'm going to croak one day and I don't want to just stuck it in the drawer somewhere. So
yeah,
this could be a module that has, then
yeah.
you click it and it goes
You could
up.
add the bucket list, like because I believe the bucket list, or I believe what everything is a list except for there's two new kinds. For accomplishments to mark something as completed, and then the path is a new kind. But the bucket list is just a existing list with a specific list name, and then all of your paths. You said, but yeah, absolutely, you could add this.
Because that would be super fun, right? Like if you
Yeah,
think like every time you go to your homepage or your Canvas page, whatever,
yeah,
uh, and then you see and you remind like, oh yeah, maybe I should go start making some plans to go do this or put a thing in, I don't know, just talk to the wife or whatever. Hey, when's your birthday? You said your birthday's this week.
yeah. It's in 3 days, Thursday.
3 days. Okay, dude. Is it on the 11th?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. All right.
Oh, I think you're gonna have a zappy birthday.
Zappy Bear is happy Zappy. I love it. That's so cool.
Well, that just would be, depending on the folks if they want to dox themselves, but put your birthday in there and have sign your birthday card with a bunch of zaps.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
there's another.
that would be a neat thing. Actually, that's a really cool app. Like you could put a so think of it as like a wall or
Yeah, yeah.
a poster, a card, whatever, and to sign it you have to pay a certain amount. So every person gets to pick whatever they want. Maybe I say you can't sign my birthday card, my poster, whatever, until you zap 1,000 sats. You zap it, and
No,
then your profile image and name is, and whatever message you put on the zap message is now embedded in that card or poster or whatever. That's a really cool app idea. Someone should build that. I like it.
yeah,
I like it too. I think it's fun. You could do it. Obviously, it goes to your wallet, or you could do a fundraiser for your birthday.
Yeah.
A lot of people do
Oh
like
yeah. I like that.
fundraisers, and
You
like
know, like
Charity
we have.
Water does stuff like that. They're super fun, and you can, kind of like you would do a Patreon campaign or whatever, or GoFundMe thing, but or Geyser, but like,
That's a simple app too that you could put
yeah,
out there that people could use for a lot of stuff. And you could even have it automatically create an image, like a shareable image.
yeah, with everybody's picture on
Yeah,
it,
with all the pictures on.
or the stuff that you said,
Literally have it, the AI or the website, like literally it can build everything. You don't need to do anything. This is all 100% possible. Like I did this for the Blue Sky Bridge app that I made. Like it'll automatically build the images for you. Like yeah,
Are you
very
building this
cool.
right now, Seth, as we're talking?
Yeah,
no.
like I'll help you build it, man. This is fun. I like that idea.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Hey, anyone can run with it. I'm sharing, and
So
we'll
cool.
go.
Heather, what are
I'll
you
put a pull
building?
request in. So
Dude, I cannot believe, I swear to God, I went to bed last night thinking about the fuck it list. And
Is it
that's hysterical that you're making that right now. Because,
well? That can be taken two different ways. Like I'm curious.
well, yeah, but but like shit you want to let go of. Yeah, toxic habits. Yep. I love it, girl. Self sabotage, people pleasing. Fuck yes. This is supposed to.
that's pretty good.
Dude, this is so great.
Well, I'll tell you. Not only
It's
the
awesome, dude.
idea is great, but
You want to let go of. And then part of writing your code is, you write your must-haves, your nice-to-haves, and your deal breakers. And so in each of these 11 areas. And so the idea really, because a lot of people, when they do manifesting and goal setting and dreams and OKRs and all this stuff, they're only looking at what they want. And that's really cool, but that's half of the puzzle. And like the problem, a lot of times, most of us, we get distracted. We have old habits, old patterns, just old things, kind of old code that's running into our human operating system. And so we forget that we need to pay attention to that shit, because that is the stuff that gets in the way of us achieving our dreams. So having a fuck it list and making sure that you're aware, and like part of the daily practice and like this daily love practice is like, okay, cool. I'm going to raise my vibe. What am I thankful for? What's my big vision for, keeping track on that? What are the 3 things of value that I'm going to add to the world today? And then what's the villain that could possibly get in the way? Is it the people pleasing? Is it, oh, I don't know how to talk to this person and they always trigger me or whatever, I'm going to go into a big meeting and I get nervous speaking in public. Like, okay, cool. What's a tool to counteract that? okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do breathing. I'm going to call my sponsor. I'm going to call, my mom or, whatever. And then evaluate yourself at the end of the day and celebrate. So you have the 5 V's, like um, the vibe, vision, value, villain, and victory. And so those are like cool things to build into the app. And then you get prompts in the morning and the evening. But like having the fuck it list right in front and center is super cool, dude. Like, cause then it's like fun and playful. Like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna let my ex-husband bother me today because I gotta talk to him or whatever, Um, it's fucking awesome. It's great, dude. Sorry, I just barked on. Yeah, the fuck it list in there. It's awesome. Well, and I think too, Heather, with all the tools that you've built so far, like as my, and this is a thing that I think I'd love to see on the dashboard or the canvas, or we can call it the masterpiece or something, whatever the master canvas is. Again, like it mix and match them and then let them color coordinate to like, okay, cool, this is a cyber theme, or this is the, whatever, pink rainbows or whatever the heck people want. But it's like all the functionality of what you have is there, but then it adopts your skin, of whatever you're building, kind of like a website theme skin thing. So this is fun, dude.
It's like it'd be really cool. Dot, dot, dot.
Wouldn't it be awesome if
Yeah, it's
Imagine
super
that.
cool. I love the ideas.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is. It's great. And
Yeah.
it's like now we've got these tools that can just like be our Yodas, and do so much work for us. So
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. My goal, actually, yeah, my goal is to convince and to hone out this vision of the building blocks or the scripts or the skills, the drag and drop, the choosing what you want to help you build. 'Cause then after you've selected all of your blocks, all of your pieces, then maybe there's a final window where you have to enter something. Now based on the 10 things we just selected, is there anything else you'd like to add? And this is where you say, I want my app to do this cool thing and that cool thing. But yeah, I think that's all. This is all doable, and I think I think we'll be able to do something interesting with it for Shakespeare. So thank you for the brainstorming. I think we'll end up making something that'll make Shakespeare easier. Patrick, earlier you said, does the new Shakespeare release with pictures let you fill a site with AI generated pictures? And I will say yes, it does. You can you can say, build me a site that does ABC and generate images for this site and say what you want the images to be, and it'll do it and it'll embed them. Alex made one earlier just to test, and he made an AI slop site talking about how AI is a bubble, and it made a whole bunch of neat images for it. So it definitely works.
That's incredible. I think that's a superb feature because, like, there's a service for WordPress called Divi that lets you have like more of a drag and drop building environment, and they made an AI service that does this to where you can easily, like, if you're a web dev, just put in the client's information and then it auto does it, pre-generates images like that. I think that's a huge feature for Shakespeare.
Yeah, so it'll use what does it use? It uses OpenAI by default, but you can change it if you don't want to, like, so if you have a preference. So if you want to use Nano Banana Pro and you have a Gemini key, then sure, you can go ahead and select that. Otherwise, it's going to use OpenAI, but you can go in and go to AI settings and configure it under advanced. But yeah, I haven't done it yet. I've been busy, guys. Let me leak you some Derek alpha. I've been busy as shit because Derek's leaving Penn State University. I yeah, I'm no in a month, I will no longer be employed by Penn State, and I'll be full time working on the Noster.
Fuck
What?
yeah, dude. That's awesome.
So,
Game on.
so I've been super busy recently closing this chapter of my life down. It's exciting and scary, but
Good for you, dude. Honestly, it's like nobody deserves it more than you, and
well,
Hell yeah,
thank you,
dude.
thank you. I appreciate the kind
it
words.
almost seems like this was destiny.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying, and I appreciate the kind words. It's kind of surreal. Like I've worked there for almost 16 years, so it's a lot. Like and then like you can't just leave the fiat mines. You got to like worry about like pension, and you got to like worry about like insurance and all these things I got to like wrap up and change and like set up new and accounts and talk to assholes I don't like. Like it's like it's a fucking thing. It's literally a fucking thing. So I haven't done much the past like 2 weeks vibe coding wise.
Yeah, when talent finds purpose, man, and that's right there. Boom.
well, well, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. It only the crazy thing is you've been doing all this shit while having a full time job.
Yeah, I
So
know. Working 2 jobs literally is killing me. Like, it's literally stresses me out and, like, drains me more than anything. So I'm happy to get rid of one of those.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But,
What is a what does a full-time Derek Rouse look like now?
yeah, well, you
So
know what? That's the scary part.
all caps
If this
coming.
has been all yeah, 2026, I go all caps. Oh
Oh
my
my
god, that would be so annoying and hilarious if I just start posting all caps in 2026 and just like I'm I'm full time now. Like, oh, oh, no, no, yeah, I was talking to Katie about it, and I'm like, oh, now I don't have to like work as hard in the evenings, and she's like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do in the evenings then? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, not a whole lot's gonna change. Like, yeah, yeah, no, but it'll be nice because I don't like, working 12-hour days. So it'll be cool. I'm excited for it. It'll be good for me. It'll be good for the Noster, I think. It'll be good for everybody. Yeah. Yep. But Patrick, sir, do you have anything you want to show? I mean, I think we've been doing a lot of talking and you've been just chilling. Do you have anything you want to add or show?
There's nothing really. I pushed a new version of Nostr Blue this week that added some new features, but nothing
Okay.
really incredible to show off.
Okay. Well, it's that time of year, you know. People were vibe coding maybe a little bit less because the holiday season's happening and we're all busy
Well, I've been vibe coding more, and can I show off
picking
my
up the slack. Yeah,
little thing here? Just because
show it off.
I got to get up at frickin' ass crack of dawn and fly to South Carolina tomorrow. So,
Oh man.
um, but uh, but I think this thing is super cool,
Okay.
and I'm gonna share here. Let me make sure. All right, I got the right one. Oh, not that one. Womp womp. So I put it out on the Noster. Grateful Day is what I'm calling it here, and it is just a gratitude site where you can go every day. So every day I've been naturally just sharing my GMs with just some Talus type of advice. So figure why not create this little space where we can have what day it is, a little ring that shows you the progress of the year, a little
Okay.
reflection, little wisdom, and again created this new nip where you can share what you're grateful for, and you can either save it as the kind 36669 or share to Nostr, which does both. It'll do the kind one and the other kind. The kind 36669 puts it here in the community reflections, which is cool.
Nice.
Um, but my favorite of all is this just random gratitude gift where you just pull. Now, I put a custom message which you can overwrite, but you can throw a random zap and send a gift to somebody random on Noster.
Now, how does it find that random person?
It does. Well, I could show you the code, but it's like select random and pub, and it would be based on recent activity, and I think recent activity is like defined within the hour. So that's also adjustable. But I found my own cheat code to find out who it eventually goes to because I was testing to see if it goes to a bot. But you can see, well, this person somewhere in Japan just got a random zap from me. Oh, you can't see because I'm only sharing the one screen.
So yeah, did it zap through Albie or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
zaps through Albie, but you select random and it's just really a general random act of
But
kind.
what the random? But what's the amount? Is it a random amount based
Well, the
on?
random amount be of the pre-selected amounts here. So in this
Okay.
case, 500
So,
sets.
so
Go
anywhere between the 2100 and the 111.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
can custom uh, do a custom
Yeah.
there as well. So it's pretty cool, and I've been using this, just throwing them out there.
Now does this? What's the? Is it somebody that used the Grateful Day app,
No,
or is it
it's
just anybody on Noster?
anyone on Nostr.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's new. I think that's the cool thing I like about it. It's like we've been zapping, we've been doing all these things, and this is just something we haven't really thought of, and maybe not a lot of people do it, but it's the idea that it's there, it's available. Like if you want to, like if you've ever participated in a drive-through and somebody's like, you get there and they're like, oh, the person in front of you bought your meal, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like a hell of a feeling. And if 1,000 sat zap lands in your wallet and you get a notification, you're like, what? It like makes your day. I threw a couple like 10,000 sat zaps out yesterday, and
Oh man.
uh, yeah, and I had a couple people like Maria, who is great
Yeah.
person in Nostr. She's like messaged me like super excited, like thank you so much for the zap, and I'm like, I didn't even know I picked you, you know, like then it got awkward, but
That's funny.
no, it's like a cool thing, and it's like a really cool feeling, afterwards, and it's like, whoa, this does like you literally made somebody's day without even anyone asking to do it. So
This is super cool. And so, like where it says libraries, Seth, is that just the all of your days that you've documented?
no, I that's a good point. So it will it captures all your past reflections.
Mm-hmm.
So like at yesterday, it shows the wisdom and the affirmation, but you can't write in your past reflections, so you can only read it.
Okay.
I thought that was important, and so yeah, it'll capture that as well. The library is something. It's a feature I want to add, which is like a more of a deeper dive, kind of looking in the habit of gratitude and having different teachings and different stories, and I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out how to shape that, but the idea, at large is more of like a deeper dive on gratitude, like where this is kind of a surface, like meant to be a daily, like, hey, let's wake up, say good morning, and capture our gratitude.
I
Um,
like it.
the deeper dive is for, maybe when you need it, or maybe just a deeper reflection, or studying it a little bit more and understanding the science, or the spiritual element of gratitude. So
I love it. Well, and I also think too with, however, as this AI buddies go forward kind of thing, like, can we, and this is what I was trying to do with, the 11x thing and just that platform is the AI gets to know your responses over time, and again, whatever the system is that you use, whether it's just, a daily gratitude, whether it's counting days, whether it's steps, whether it's doing, whatever your program du jour is, but having the AIs with your permission and somehow making it private so that the whole world, you're not getting your data sold and all that stuff. Having it start to know us, right? So like for I'm older, I'm in menopause right now, but when I was younger and I used to have my monthlies, like it would have been really nice to be able to track that and not just have to have some mobile app and then send it to my ex-husband and say, she's going to be grumpy in the next 3 days. So be nice, or notifying me that like, yep, here's like some stuff to pay attention to, or just sort of like having prompts and cues that learn from us and through our inputs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, there's a good, for what Twitter and X is worth, there's a one good person I like, or, Brian Romelli's always been talking about
Mm-hmm.
AI related things, and he always kind of inverts it to like IA, and like he thinks like the end goal is having a local device that can kind of know you
Yep.
well, and be able to be a productive tool, not that you're like sending your data to
Yep.
third party to have them sell it or use it nefariously, but like, it's technology as a tool. And I kind of believe that too. Specific to like local AIs and things like that. I think
Yeah.
that's only get better and better and better. But we're probably gonna have to go through some shitty version first, which I think we're in the middle of. Um, but I think we're gonna eventually get to that sort of local AI model where you can, have a more of a personal assistant that's like helps you along the way, right?
Yeah, big time. Because I think, again, like if the AI starts to get to know us with permission, of course it knows like, okay, we've got a big flight. Derek's got, he's wrapping up. He's got this whole month of craziness. Like, what are some things that help him, practice self-care? Like, okay, hey, Derek, remember to go, you know, go take a walk in nature so that you're not so stressed out with all this crazy stuff going on. And so just little things like that so that it can give us reminders of things that we already want it to know, you know what I mean? Um, and like, kind of preemptively anticipate
Yeah.
things, and I see that this is already starting, but we want it to be private. We don't want it to be linked to Meta and all that bullshit so they can sell us crap.
Well, Noster certainly gives us the, Derek mentioned the pipes. It gives us the pipes to do some of these things where, you have control of your keys and your data, and you can sort of steer it where you want it to go.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, man. I'm really excited to like we're so early. We're so ridiculously early on all of this.
It's not a meme. We are actually early.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
it's funny because I think about this, and trying to talk to people, and I've done the Bitcoin dance and the purple pilling and everything, and as much as I like that a girl that works with me, I keep trying to get. I'm like, she signed up for Nostr. I'm like, you gotta go. But it's like one of those, you get it when you deserve it. But it's a 10-year look at where Bitcoin is, almost 20 years down the road. The Nostra is going to take that time too, and we are super early in that journey. So hey, but I gotta hop off because I got a flight to catch bright and early. So appreciate you guys having me on. Always good to catch up, and congrats to you, Derek, and um, good talking to you.
All right, sir.
All right. Peace, love, and aloha, brother.
All right, take care.
You too.
Thank you. I figured I would just test the image generation while we're here since I haven't done it yet. So I said create an image of a cashew because I made a cashew wallet last week by just saying cashew. That's all I said is cashew. And then it made this cashew wallet. And now I said create an image of a cashew and use it for the logo / hero image at the top. I don't have enough credits. Oh, I got to have Shakespeare credits to do that. Oh, it made it. Still making it. Still building.
That's so cool.
So you need to have Shakespeare credits, and I don't have any Shakespeare credits. That's why that yelled at me. But sure, it made a basic image. But yeah, if I would have had Shakespeare credits, it would have made that. I'm all out. I need to buy. Yeah, yeah, sure. See, a Poe. That's actually a good tip, though. We need to let people know that you have to have Shakespeare credits to be able to do that. Well, because it's different than it was when he first deployed it. See, now it's using GPT image 1, but if I change this to if I change this through to Open Router, it would have actually worked. Do I have an Open Router key, so now I'm going to say Nano Banano. All right, so now I bet if I go back in and do it, I'm just going to copy my prompt and I'm going to have it do it again because now it should be using Open Router and it should be using my key.